I'm out here to mow this HOA retention pond, and I figured I probably should tell you guys, how do you bid a job like this? So there's all kinds of stuff you got to look out for and all kinds of things you need to pay attention to when you're bidding a job like this, because it can go really smooth or it can go really bad. Doesn't take a lot for it to go really bad and become a giant pain in the butt. The biggest thing of which to watch out for is anything hidden in the brush. So you need to walk it as best you can, but obviously you're not going to walk through waist deep or even chest deep, you know, blackberries and sticker bushes, right? Like, that's not super realistic. So when you're mowing, you need to, you know, be paying attention. But how do you bid it on the front end? For that, the biggest thing is going to be your customer. You got to really listen to your gut on that one and pay attention to, you know, what your customer's telling you and if you feel like they're being honest or not. Because I've had people who are super honest, like this guy. He was super honest. He's like, hey, I know there's a tiny little sign in there, you know, that says like no trespassing and stuff. He's like, if you accidentally mow it, he's like, no big deal. He just said, you know, try to look out for it, right? If someone's being that upfront and honest with you, then odds are, you know, they're trying to tell you everything, right? I've also had people who are like, oh no, there's nothing in there at all. Literally, I was going along and I ran into a straight six engine block, like an old Ford straight six. And I basically ran the top of the mower. Luckily, it was like just across the top of it, and it didn't actually damage anything. But because I was going nice and slow, because I was going through, you know, really thick brush, I was able to stop in time and there wasn't any damage. Then when I told the customer about it, just because I was like, hey, you know, check this out, dude. I found an engine block out here. You know, how crazy is that, or whatever stuff. They literally looked me in the eye and went, oh yeah, I knew that was there. It's like, you gotta be shitting me. Like, really? I was like, and you didn't think to tell me this because that could damage some stuff? So you're gonna get all kinds of people. Just go with your gut, you know. So the other thing you need to really look for when you're doing brush mowing or bidding it is how steep stuff is. So this right here is our steepest side, right? Now, this is steep enough that I wouldn't want to go, you know, I wouldn't want to go this way with a skid steer, but I'd go this way for sure, you know, or up. But if it's also steep enough that if it was wet, you would definitely just slide right down to the pond. It'd be a pain in the butt. So you need to kind of pay attention to that. That's one of the reasons why I brought an excavator, is because I can just reach down the hill nice and easy. It's no big deal, especially because it literally poured the past 3 days. Don't know what that's all about because it's not supposed to be that time of year, but who knows. So you got to pay attention to how steep stuff is and everything else. You guys might not be able to tell, but the sticker bushes slope off pretty good right here, which is a good indication that the ground that the sticker bushes are growing on also do the same, right? They're gonna follow the hillside. So right here, it's not quite as steep as right over there. It's a lot steeper, right? So part of the reason why I brought the excavator today is because they want me to basically mow this pond on a quarterly basis. Well, the skid steer would be super fast, you know, in the summer and fall, like early summer and early fall mowing would be super fast with a skid steer. But if I have to come out here in the winter time, the skid steer is going to get stuck. And that's where things can become a giant pain in the butt, because now you got to bring another machine out to pull the skid steer out. That is why I opted to use the excavator. So that's another thing that you need to pay attention to when you're bidding this stuff, is kind of have a game plan of how you're going to do it. You need, in my opinion, you should have a plan A and a plan B, because plan A sometimes will really not work out well. So another thing, you'll know you're dealing with a good customer because he marked this pile of rocks for me with a cone. Super good guy. There's like 3 rocks here, 3 or 4 rocks here, right? That to me, I'm being the operator. Like, I don't even really think anything of that. But because he's such a good guy and he's trying to be super honest, transparent, and helpful and stuff, he wanted to mark it. That's why I'm fairly certain that there's really nothing out here. Now you just wait. When we mow this, we're gonna find a car or something crazy like that. We're gonna find a car with, you know, 6 bodies and a carny in there. But I have a feeling though that we're not gonna find anything. It's gonna go nice and smooth because this guy was super honest and transparent about stuff. At least that's what my gut tells me. We could totally get hit, hoodwinked, who knows, you know, but that's what I'm kind of feeling. So the other thing, obviously the most basic thing you need to pay attention to when you're doing a retention pond is this will probably be the biggest thing that will impact how long it takes you is one, square footage, right? Which thanks to Google Maps, that's super easy to do. You know, super easy to measure on there. Or you can just do it with you know, a wheel or something like that. Depends on the pond, depends on your situation, right? But anyway, you're gonna measure the mowing square footage, right? Like I'm not gonna mow the middle of that pond. I'm gonna mow the perimeter, right? So basically I went on Google and I measured the whole area of this thing, right? Length, width, got my area, and then I subtracted out the area of the pond. From the overhead images, you were kind of able to see where the pond was, and I just kind of guesstimated. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? This is just to get you a rough idea. The other thing you need to pay attention to is how tall the brush is and how fast you can mow it. I can mow this like knee-high, very thin grass very quick. Mowing that, right? What? That's way over my head. So 7 foot tall, right? Like small alders and looks like some cottonwood starts. I'm not going to be able to mow that super fast, right? So every job you do, you should try to keep track of how long it takes you to do things. Now, that could be just measure out a 10 by 10 area, right? And mow it, right? Now you know, and see how long it takes you to mow it. Now you know it takes me X number of minutes to mow 100 square feet. That makes it super easy now when you have to do math on a project like this, because you know it takes me X number of minutes to do 100 square feet. That's super easy math to back into, right? So the other thing you need to do is figure out, okay, how long does it take me to go through blackberry bushes? And then how long does it take me to get through, you know, like alder stuff, right? Then when you're doing a project like this, you can kind of look and just kind of, you know, come up with an overall rough number. Like, okay, half of this is short grass, right? 25% of it is, you know, blackberries, you know, and 25% of it is the alders, right? And it's easy then to do your math. If you are unsure about how long a job is going to take you to do, it's usually because you don't have enough information to, you know, do it. Whether you didn't measure stuff or you just don't have like the previous history of information to mow it or to know it, that's usually where that comes from. So trust me, I know that from experience. Yeah, so at first, every job you do is going to be a little bit of a guess, and you're just gonna have to go with your gut on it and hope that it comes out okay. So that's what I would tell you guys is whenever you're going to bid out a pond job, right, or any kind of a brush mowing or field mowing job, those are the things you always need to look for, right? How steep is it? Get your areas and your square footages. What all is hiding in there that, you know, could be bad, because let's be honest, mower blades are definitely not cheap and they're a giant pain in the butt to replace. Especially if you find like fencing wire, sweet Jesus, is that a nightmare. It takes forever to get that stuff unwound. Otherwise, it's gonna smoke a seal and it's gonna smoke a bearing, and then your job just got really expensive. So you are, just remember that, you are one fence wire away and a bad decision away from your nice paying job going negative. So just kind of keep that in mind. So one other thing that you need to look for whenever you're doing a mowing job is you got to look for liabilities, right? Liabilities are anything that could cost you money, right? Like if this was like, let's just say that this was like a street, right, in downtown. Well, like, and there was houses, you know, like right there, right? Well, there'd probably be cars parked all along here. If you're mowing right there and there's cars parked right here, someone's gonna complain, and someone is most likely gonna try to pin something on you, right? There's always that one shitbox crackhead car that is parked there that they're gonna come out and be like, that dent wasn't here, and you're like, that dent, you're missing 3 windows, a tire, and you have no taillight and your headlights are gone. But that dent's what you're worried about? But they're gonna try to stick it to you just because of insurance, right? Well, let's be honest, insurance, way too damn expensive as it is, even when you're clean as a whistle. So protect that at all costs. The other thing you need to be careful of, not careful, but just cognizant of, is what is my access like, right? This wide open, unencumbered, right? There is absolutely nothing overhead at all. So that makes it super easy to get in and out of here, which makes it really easy. It's low risk, right? And I've been walking around now with a camera for 30 minutes. I haven't seen a single person. So I don't have to worry about people. I don't have to worry about cars, right? I don't have to worry about, you know, a dog running out or anything like that, you know, because there's nobody around out here. So those are all things that you really need to be kind of looking for when you're looking at doing a mowing job. The other thing that you need to decide is whether or not you want to bid a job, like just be like, hey, this is X number of dollars, right? I will do X, Y, and Z all for, you know, flat cost. Or do you want to do it as T&M? Personally, time and material. Well, mowing, there's really not a lot of material, so it'd just be time. Personally, T&M jobs scare the crap out of me. Why? Well, for one, I can't stand around with a camera and video stuff, right? What if I make a mistake, right? Whenever I do T&M, I'm so nervous about going as fast as I can to try to save the customer money, just because that's how I would want a contractor to treat me, that then you can make mistakes. If I just tell somebody a flat price, they know what it's gonna be. If you do T&M, it's like, well, the price is gonna be, you know, anywhere from a little to a lot. Well, that doesn't help people, right? But if I just tell you the price is gonna be X, the customer likes that because they know this is what I'm gonna pay, right? If he screws up, it's just still gonna be X. Now, if they change the scope of the project, then yes, the price will change. If they make the project bigger, price goes up, make it smaller, price goes down. So that way, if you do just a flat rate bid price, it gives you time to slow down and think. And let's be honest, sometimes, we've all been there, sometimes you just need to go slow, because sometimes when you're in a hurry, shit goes horribly wrong. So those are kind of my thoughts, everything that I kind of consider whenever I'm bidding a job and stuff like that. So hopefully that helps you guys. All right, I'm gonna hop on the machine and I'm gonna go make some noise.